Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing an oil change on my 2006 Honda Civic Hybrid. Alright, if you already own a Honda Civic, you're probably already familiar with that little wrench light you see right there. That typically means that it's time for some maintenance. That is not a check engine light, that is an engine service light, so don't get them confused. See the little blinking negative 36 miles? That means I'm 36 miles overdue on my oil change, so I probably should have done this at least 36 miles ago. Now, when you first get that little wrench, instead of miles on down there, it'll say a percentage. It'll start off with like 20% until your oil change is due, and then it'll go to 10% and 5%, and then once you put it off for so long, it'll start telling you, okay, you're overdue, buddy. You'll start going into negative miles. So I've put it off long enough, and I'm getting to do it now. Okay, so the first thing you want to do on an oil change is to drop the old oil. Problem is, a lot of times you can't get your oil catch up underneath there because it hits. So you're gonna have to lift it. I'm going to show you the best place that I found to lift the car, and then show you where to put the jack stands, because, you know, safety first. Okay, underneath the front of the car here, you see these little hooks right here. You got one on the left and one on the right. Right underneath, this is part of the unibody frame, right here on this frame rail, and that's where I'm going to put the jack today to lift it up. And then on this side of the car, on the passenger side of the car, you got these little pinch welds right here on the base. These points right here that stick down a little bit, you can see. You get the light. That's better. Over here, this is where they want you to put the factory jack, this factory scissor jack that comes with the car, to lift it up. But today we're actually going to use those to hold the car up with the jack stands. Alright, before you start lifting your car, make sure your e-brake's set. That way when you jack up the front end, it doesn't roll back on you. Okay, once you got the car on jack stands, I always like to give it a good shake, because I'd rather it fall down while I'm not under it versus when I'm under it. Okay, now you got enough space to get underneath the car. Look up here, you'll see, bam, right there, the oil filter, and then they were nice enough to label where the engine oil drain is, right here. This drain plug is 17 millimeter, and I recommend using a boxed in wrench or a socket to get that off. Don't use an open-end wrench, because you don't know how tight the last guy made it or how tight you made it the last time you did your oil change. You don't want to round that plug off, then you're in all kinds of other trouble. Okay, while that's draining, they were nice enough to put the oil drain and the oil filter pretty close together, so you can move your drain bucket back while it's still catching oil if you're impatient like me, and you can untwist your oil filter and drain both of them at the same time. Okay, before you put your oil filter up, always match up your new filter with your old filter. If you're not getting the exact same number you got last time, as you can see, I got a Bosch filter last time. This time I got a Napa Gold, and you can see that they're different numbers. So just make sure that they're the same and that they both thread on right, and that they both have the same size seal. Otherwise, you're gonna start your car up and it's gonna go all over the place. So it's always good just to double check. And then before you put it on, always take a dab of oil and then go around the seal. That way, next time you do your oil change, it'll be easier to get off. Or for the next guy who does oil change, that way they're not cussing at you. Okay, after you get done draining the oil, replacing the filter, putting the drain plug back in, it's always a good idea to put the car back on the ground before you add the oil to the car, because if the car is up on the ground at a tilt, at an angle, you start filling the oil and you start checking the dipstick for the level, it might be off a little bit because the oil might have been sloshed to the back of the oil pan. So it's always a good practice to put your car on a level surface before you start refilling the oil. Something car manufacturers started doing a long time ago was putting what kind of engine oil to use on your for your engine. And in my case, it's SAE 0W20. We're going to use regular detergent oil in this car. If your car requires synthetic, you should use the synthetic oil. Otherwise, you could void any warranty you have on your engine. No matter if you know exactly how much oil your engine takes, you always want to check as you go, because it's easier to add more oil than it is to take away from it. Alright, once you initially get the oil to the level you want to go start the car. Run it for a few seconds, turn it off, let the oil settle, and then come back out and check it. Now I've already adjusted it, but what happens is the oil will go through and it'll fill the filter and everything, and then it'll actually end up being lower than your initial fill, and then you're going to want to probably top it back off. But reading the dipstick here, you see this hole here is your low point. This hole here is your full point, and you want it right at that hole. Okay, once you get done with the oil change, you're going to want to reset your light. So turn the key on 2 positions forward, and then come over here. It says select reset button right here. You're going to hold that down and change it to where it's set up there. We were on it, but we want to go press it until it goes to the service interval. Like that. And you hold the button down for 10 seconds, and then the whole screen's going to blink. Right now. There we go. Let your finger off of it and then hold it down again for about 5 seconds, and then it'll reset that service to 0 and we'll be good. Oil life 100%. Done deal. And then to verify that's been done, you can turn the car off and then restart it, and then voila, the wrench is gone, oil change is complete. Alright, and that's it. That's changing your oil on a 2006 Honda Civic Hybrid. If you like what I do on this channel, please consider subscribing. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos, and thanks for watching Chris Peters DIY.